Not every problem needs fixing. Some need leaving. If someone benefits from your confusion, they're not on your side. When you explain your boundaries but don't enforce them, people learn they can push past them. The easiest way to ruin your life is to ignore small problems for too long. If you don't upgrade who you are, the life you're chasing will eventually crush you. A calm life is built by boring decisions repeated every day. If you ignore disrespect once, you teach people it's allowed forever. You can't fix people who don't see a problem in what they do. If you have to chase respect, you've already lost it. Don't confuse someone's kindness with their loyalty. They can be generous and still betray you. You can't save someone from themselves. The best you can do is refuse to drown with them. If you keep giving people second chances, don't be surprised when they give you the same mistake twice. Not every apology deserves forgiveness. Sometimes it deserves distance. If you keep tolerating it, don't complain about it. The person you lie to the most will always be yourself. Desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Most regrets come from what you didn't say, not what you said. You don't lose people by telling the truth. You lose them by revealing it. When you know the value of your time, you don't waste it. You can spend years being patient with the wrong person and call it loyalty, when it's really just fear of starting over. The hardest truth: some people will only love you as long as you're easy to control. Never build your life around someone who can leave at any moment. Some people don't want a solution. They want you to stay in the problem with them. Don't choose a woman just for how she makes you feel. Choose one who makes your life stable. More requires a version of you that handles pressure without folding. You're asking for the crown, but you're still crying about the weight. If you're not willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time, you can't do anything truly new. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Life doesn't fix itself because you hope. You fix it by choosing, acting, and walking away from what doesn't serve you. Every problem you face teaches you something you wouldn't have learned any other way. And that lesson builds strength, sharpens thinking, forces resourcefulness. The obstacle isn't the enemy. It's the training. what feels like it's stopping you is actually shaping you into someone who can handle what's next. Don't be afraid to let go of the past. You'll be surprised at how many opportunities come into your life when you make room for new energy. Be proud of who you are, but never let pride blind you to the value of others. Most people judge your mistakes by what they fear for themselves, not by your intentions. Ignoring red flags because you want to see the good in people will cost you later. Don't be afraid of losing people. Be afraid of losing yourself by trying to please everyone around you. People don't decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Trouble is, you think you have time. Any lesson you refuse to learn will repeat itself until you change. You're allowed to be happy before you've fixed everything. In the end, it is important to remember that we cannot become what we need to be by remaining what we are. Healing also means taking an honest look at the role you play in your own suffering. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. You only get one body. Take care of it. You'll have it all your life, and while it is incredibly resilient, it can only give you what you put in. The days are long, but the years are short. You won't know what is right for you until you experience enough wrong. Perhaps you are overvaluing what you don't have and undervaluing what you do. The world will not treat you better just because you're a good person. You will only know true freedom when you no longer wish to impress anyone. Healing isn't about becoming who you were before. It's about letting go of what broke you and building someone stronger. Choose your habits carefully. They decide your future. If you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. Experience is the worst teacher. It gives you the test before the lesson. Remember when you wanted what you currently have. Even a correct decision is wrong when it's too late. Don't hold your breath on people doing the right or ethical thing. People make decisions based on self-interests, not on what is right. The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you. Sometimes we don't want to heal because the pain is the last link to what we've lost. Every broken promise to yourself is a vote against the man you want to become. How to treat your body before you are 45 is how your body will treat you after you are 45. Time is a created thing. To say, "I don't have time," is like saying, "I don't want to." The same red flags you ignore in the beginning will be the same reason it all ends. Success does not consist in never making mistakes, but in never making the same one a second time. Why is happiness so elusive? Because you look for it in the future instead of in the present. You learn a lot about people when they don't get what they want from you. When you know yourself, you stop fearing missing out on things that are not meant for you. Your wound is not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. You must discipline yourself carefully. You must keep the promises you make to yourself and reward yourself so that you can trust and motivate yourself. Start prioritizing your mental health instead of adjusting to toxic spaces. We often overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what is possible in 5. A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. The more seriously you take yourself, the unhappier you're going to be. Time is the only thing you can get more of, and yet you sell it dirt cheap. People who play roles will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. When you stop trying to please everyone, you begin to understand who truly values you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. Time doesn't heal. It's what you do with the time. The only thing stopping you from doing what you have to do is the excuse in your head saying that you can't. Your mental state determines your experience of life. Prioritize your mental health like you would your physical health. Exercise your mind with new challenges and positive self-talk. Mistakes won't hold you back. Not learning from them will. A little foolishness, enough to enjoy life, and a little wisdom to avoid the errors. That will do. It is not a lack of time. It is a lack of priority. Never trust what someone says. Watch what they do. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Smart people stop overthinking once they understand that the best decisions require more gut feeling than pure intellect. Motivation often comes after starting, not before. Money is a tool, not the goal. Freedom is the goal. The longer you live in the past, the less future you have to enjoy. The chief trick to making good mistakes is not to hide them, especially not from yourself. Not everything in this world should be your problem. Some things are simply none of your business. Focus on the issues that affect you directly. You will be much happier that way. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. Actions prove who someone is. Words just prove who they pretend to be. Don't say yes to everyone to make them comfortable. Check with yourself too before you commit. Rule your life with your mind, not with your feelings. Every bad decision we have made in life, there was more emotion in it than there was mind. Every single one. Action breeds more clarity than thought. So you can't think your way into a new life. You have to act your way into one. You may not lead a comfortable life with a single source of income. You need to build others. Before you are old, attend as many funerals as you can bear and listen. Nobody talks about the departed's achievements. The only thing people will remember is what kind of person you were while you were achieving. The art of life is a constant readjustment to our surroundings. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. The most important skill in the 21st century is the ability to happily live with uncertainty. You think you know someone, but mostly you just know what you want to know. Avoid making decisions when you're angry, and avoid making promises when you're happy. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Sometimes the weight you need to lose isn't on your body. Keep your distance from people who will never admit they are wrong and always try to make you feel like it's all your fault. Boundaries won't make you lose friends and relationships. They'll make you lose pretenders and manipulators. Sometimes the mind knows the answer, but the heart does not like it. Perfectionism is a disease. Procrastination is a disease. Action is the cure. Save a little money every week or month. Nothing gives you happiness like a financial buffer, believe it or not. Be sure to spend time with your parents while you can, because one day when you look up from your busy life, they won't be there anymore. Change is never painful. Only resistance to change is painful. Not how long, but how well you have lived is the main thing. Rowing harder doesn't help if the boat is headed in the wrong direction. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect. Control your thoughts, or your thoughts will control you. You don't get results by focusing on results. You get results by focusing on the habits and behaviors that produce results. Your respect at most places is directly proportional to your bank balance. Change is scary because known challenges and pain are easier to accept than unknown ones. Once someone has spent enough time cultivating bad habits and biding their time, they are much diminished. Much of what they could have been has dissipated. It's easy to fool someone. It's hard to convince them that they've been fooled. Be careful what you tolerate. You are teaching people how to treat you. The short-term pain of accepting the truth is much better than the long-term pain of believing an illusion. Being ready is a myth. You start, you suck, you figure it out, you get better. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. If you're willing to sacrifice what you want most for what you want now, then your future will always be filled with disappointment. If you wouldn't take advice from them, why would you take criticism? Have firm boundaries and be discerning about who you let into your life. The worst lie you can tell is the lie you tell yourself. One of the fastest ways to improve your life is to simply do what you said you were going to do. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. You don't have to rebuild a relationship with everyone you've forgiven. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. It's okay to be sad after making the right decision. You already know what you need to do. You're just pretending you don't. But once you stop, things will fall into place faster than you think. An apology without change is just a manipulation. Often there is a time gap between knowing better and doing better. Just because a decision hurts doesn't mean it was the wrong one. Don't let loneliness drive you to make temporary decisions with long-term consequences. Avoid people who use their pain as an excuse to hurt you. You will never be 100% sure about a decision, but always make a decision because it's better to go back and fix it than to never make it at all. Don't fear failure. Fear being in the exact same place next year as you are today. You can't make someone love you by giving them more of what they already don't appreciate. What you don't change, you choose every day. If you stay too long in a bad situation, you'll forget it's bad and get comfortable, while the best years of your life just pass you by. Sacrificing long-term joy for short-term pleasure is the easiest recipe for regret. Don't ignore a problem you see coming from a mile away. That foresight is a gift. Don't squander it. We repeat what we don't repair. When we avoid difficult conversations, we trade short-term discomfort for a long-term problem.